Hello, welcome to another video and welcome to my February wrap up. So I've decided I'm going to do this wrap up a little bit differently than normal. I'm going to do this wrap up a little bit different than normal. So I am, as usual, going to go through all of the books that I read, but I'm going to give you like a yes, no on why you should read each book. And I thought I'd also just share a couple of favourite things that I've been using this month, just as a kind of little bit more of like a sort of lifestyle thing, I guess. So I don't know my stats for the month. Hang on. So I read 12 books in February, plus I had one DNF. They ranged from like a 2-star up to a 5-star. So I'm just going to go through what I read. In fact, there's going to be a vague sense of order to this, but probably not very much order. So I'm going to start off with In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. I read this one for Book Box Battle. I really enjoyed it. I gave this book 5 stars. I would recommend this one, yes, if you like a kind of cozy fantasy and a discussion or allegory on the way that we treat the world in terms of AI and environmentalism. No, if you want a really fast-paced book with a lot of different plot points in it. But I really enjoyed this one. I then did my first Reading Booktuber's favourite books series. So we started off with Women's Law by Sarah Clegg. This one I gave 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I would say yes for this one if you enjoy women's mythologies, like particularly Greek, Roman, other religious mythologies, and the way that women are accepted. To be honest, no, if that isn't an area of interest for you. Next in that vlog, where is it? I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I gave this one 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Yes, if you like a romance with characters who have got real life issues. No, if you just don't love love. I thought this book was fantastic. The next book I read for that vlog is over here, is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I had a really good time. Yes, if you like a political fantasy with a slower plot line, slower pacing, really in-depth, amazing world building. No, if you like a fast-paced, character-driven fantasy. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to read the next one. The next book I read in that vlog was The Tainted Cup. This one was my 1 DNF of the month. This is a soft DNF. I will come back to it. It just isn't a book that I wanted to read at that point. So I just finished reading The Will of the Many, which is Roman inspired, and then The Tainted Cup had a certain amount of Roman inspiration in it as well, and that just wasn't doing it for me. So again, I only read, as my bookmark is still in here, I think I'm at about page, yeah, I am at exactly page 100. I would say yes, if you like a kind of murder mystery, classic Sherlock Holmes sort of mystery set in a fantastical world. No, if you just read a book which is inspired by Roman mythology and you're not really feeling reading another Roman mythology book. I am going to come back and give this one a second go though. And then the final book I read for that vlog was Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I love this book. I read this 800-page book in one sitting. I don't know how. I gave it 5 stars. I would say yes, if you want to just absolutely fall for these characters, wrap them up in cotton wool, protect them at all costs. No, if you have any sensitivity towards abuse, particularly physical abuse, familial abuse, bullying, or injuries as well. This one is heartbreaking. I loved it. Before we get into the next books that I read, I did want to just, like I said, go through some of like the favourite things that I've been enjoying this month. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is my favourite skincare, which is Upcircle skincare. This is not sponsored at all by anything. I just love this brand. So I use the full routine. Evenings, I will use the peptide serum, the eye cream, and then the night cream. This is the best thing I've ever put on my face. If like, I don't like creams that are too thick or that feel kind of jelly or that feel watery. I'm very specific in the type of cream that I like, and this, the best thing I've ever put on my face. I do also have their oil serum as well, but I don't like that one quite as much because again, I'm funny with things. I don't like things that are too oily. And their day moisturizer as well, fantastic. I really enjoy that. So if you are looking for more skincare, I highly recommend Upcircle. Okay, going back to some books that I did read. Don't know what I said about that. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This one, again, I think I read it in pretty much one sitting, and it was just to be like a kind of palette cleanser. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Yes, if you want a queer sapphic romance with characters that have got depth and history. No. If you want something with like which is a little bit deeper, a little bit more hard hitting, it is a fairly kind of fluffy rom-com. Next, I'm going to talk about two books. I'm going to talk about them both at the same time. I read The Inheritance by Robin Hobb, and I read The Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince, also by Robin Hobb. So I read both of these as part of the Fits Along hosted by Win over at Literary Diversions. The Inheritance is a collection of short stories written by Robin Hobb and Robin Lintern, which is her kind of sci-fi pen name. I gave this collection 2 stars. I did not like the sci-fi stories, and I think there are only 2 Realm of the Elderling stories in there, and I didn't feel like any of them really added anything. So yes, if you're a completionist and you want to read everything that Robin Hobb has written, no. If I don't know if the sci-fi Megan Lindhurn writing just doesn't work for you. Yeah, no, if you don't enjoy short stories also. And then The Willful Princess, I gave 3 stars. This story was fine, but again, I don't, and maybe this is just because I haven't yet read the the 20-man series. So I don't really know how this story fits in, but for me, I didn't really care. It is a short story. It's only like 200 pages. So again, yes, if you are a completionist and you want to read everything that Robin Hobb has written. No, if you don't really care and you just want to read the main things. Again, like, you know, it was a story that was fine. I just didn't really care about it. I also was in my the rest of the epic fantasies that I was reading. I read Valor by John Gwynne. So this one is for the Faithful Along, a catch-up book club hosted by Becca over Becca in the Books. I gave this one 4 stars. I enjoyed it so much more than Malice, which makes me think that the reason I didn't enjoy Malice was me, not the book. So yeah, yes, if you like a really in-depth fantasy series with multiple characters, similar to kind of something like Game of Thrones. No, if multiple characters makes a bit confusing for you. I have like a page in my journal where I've got all of the characters written down and who they are and how they relate to each other, because I can't keep up with who's who. Before I go on to the last couple of books that I read this month, I also wanted to share another favourite of mine this month, which is Dekcha Dreamin' Tea by Bird and Blend. This is such a good sleepy time tea. It is chamomile and apple pieces. It's also got rosehip, linden blossom, hibiscus, orange peel, and natural flavouring. And honestly, a cup of this before bed and I'm just out like a light. I love it. It tastes amazing. If you saw, or if you were watching my Bird and Blend advent calendar over Christmas, a lot of sleepy time teas, particularly ones by Bird and Blend, have lavender in them. I do not like lavender in tea. I just really dislike the flavour. This one, however, incredible. No notes, amazing. So yeah, deck chair dreaming. Give this one a go if you want a new bedtime tea. I'm then going to go for Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This one, I think actually this is the last book I read of this month. Okay, apologies in advance. I should have DNF'd this book. I gave it 2.5 stars. It just wasn't for me. So yes, if you like a cozy, slow-paced fantasy with a kind of Edwardian setting. No, if you like a strong plot. I got bored. Next, and I won't give the rating for this one, I read The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. This is one that I read for work, so I'm not going to go through like a kind of normal rating. I'm not going to give you a yes, no on this one either. This one is the third book in the Maid series by Nita Prose. And in this one we learn a lot more about Gran and her history, which is, again, really interesting if you enjoyed that series. And the final book that I'm going to talk about this month is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I was bored up until probably the page 500 mark. And I know it is probably blasphemous for me to say that, but I was. So yes, if you like Brandon Sanderson, if you like a slow-paced political fantasy where there's just kind of tension building and building and building. No, if you like there to be some action in your slow-paced political fantasies. I found that the build-up of tension, like I said, which was for about 500 odd pages. This book is 700 pages, 760 pages. I found over nearly 3/4 of the book, I was kind of really struggling with it. It wasn't until the last sort of quarter, last third maybe, that I started to really enjoy the story, and you know, the tension had imploded and we were getting more action. So that's the final book. So yeah, that is my February wrap up and a couple of just kind of favourite products that I've been using this month. Let me know what you think of this format. Do you like the yes no format? Do you like seeing some like extra little kind of products and stuff that I've been using this month? Is that something of interest to you? If you like this video, please leave me a like, subscribe down below, all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.